All right guys, today we're here at Free Play Richardson and we're about to move some games. We're rearranging the entire arcade to kind of incorporate some new games that we have coming in to get Killer Queen back on the floor and to just do a nice rotation. So that's what we're gonna do today, spend a few hours moving some awesome games around.
All right, let's take AVP off the line. We're gonna just take it and set it in over there for now. And then we're gonna move all of it. We're not taking it out. It's a very important game historically. It gets to live, but we have to take it out of this line. Because if we get AVP out and then push everything over there, we can try to put Cosmotrons right here. All right guys, so we're rearranging a lot of lines right now. We're kind of rebuilding the whole Richardson arcade. First up, we're trying to find a home for our new Cosmotrons because Killer Queen left for a little bit. Cosmotrons came in, but we don't want to get rid of either. So we're trying to figure out spacing so that we can have Cosmotrons at the end of a row, not facing the windows, so there's no glare. We think we have a plan, but our current concern right now is The Simpsons. It's a 4-player game. Next to Final Fight, a 2-player game. If there's a player here and a player there, they're in each other's way. So we're gonna try to figure out a design that makes it a little bit more palatable to have both of these games next to each other and see where it goes from there. All right, so here's the super difficult part about taking out a game that's early in a line that has to get condensed. So we just took out this game. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games all have to be slowly and carefully shifted over. So it's a ton of work, huge pain, but we think we're gonna have good results at the end, hopefully. All right guys, we figured out kind of a way to cheat that hard move that I was just talking about. Rampage, 3-player game, needs space for 3 players, is going into the spot that Alien vs. Predator was, another 3-player game. So we're gonna be able to take one game out, move it over, squish just baby pack. It'll at least save us like 20 minutes of moving time.
Oh, it's kind of heavy.
Yeah,
that's got some weight to it.
It does. Come on, let's turn it this way.
Get ready. This is how the floor gets cleaned. Scrape a new floor. the long play video with the random. So a lot of people laugh when I talk on a podcast or on these videos about designing an arcade floor, but there's a lot of care that goes into what we think building the best arcade ever is. Different things like making sure one, you have your games really tight with tables in between, but still having enough space to play them, like if you have a 4-player and all that, but also making sure that you have a good variety on each row, on each level, so that you don't have we think, especially at Richardson, for a true old school retro arcade feel, you should walk around, explore it, kind of find each game. So we don't really have a section for each, especially when it comes to the retro games. We don't have all the maze games next to each other and all of the shooters next to each other or anything like that. We like to just intersperse everything, the color vectors one, raster, all of that, spread out as much as possible. So what we're dealing with right now is trying to make sure we keep that balance while we rebuild the lines. So it's a lot of fun for me, even if it seems kind of weird for people looking and just saying, just throw the games wherever they fit. We put a lot more thought into it. So really excited. We're starting to get a little sweaty. It's gonna be awesome. So this cut's actually really hard. So Richardson has a super stacked lineup, and we've been trying to figure out how to remove stuff. And unfortunately this time, it's kind of sad. This is a true what's played the least and what's recognized the least kind of cut. So Richardson's losing some all-time greats, only because it's filled with all-time greats. Every game in here has a really good spot in history and is also a really good game. So Richardson's losing Arabian and Satan's Hollow right here. And both of those are just so good, and it's heartbreaking to take them out. But that way Richardson can keep all the games that people recognize a little bit better, or that are the better games. Satan's Hollow is an MCR game that's kind of like Galaga, but truthfully Galaga is a little bit better. Satan's Hollow will definitely be repurposed for another location. Arabian, ultra rare, ultra amazing. And this one was in some of the best condition I've ever seen an Arabian in. So they're all gonna find new homes, but Richardson's so stacked. Difficult choices had to be made, and those were the ones that got cut. All right, so we're just trying to work with what we have. So this is gonna get the big blue that actually has Tetris Grandmaster in right now, which is kind of cool. We just recently put all this custom art on it custom marquee that was never that's not a real marquee, we custom made it. And then this is probably the coolest thing, a custom bezel for our big blues. Because used to they'd have like the move lists for Street Fighter and stuff, but we've started using our big blues, unfortunately for me, because these are my favorite fighting game cabinets, but we started using these for all sorts of other cool games, mostly puzzle games. And so we needed a new bezel that was universal, so we have a cool Free Play branded big blue bezel. I think it looks great. So we just pulled Frogger, which is coming over here. And so Frogger is going to get a new home next to Off-Road, and then we're going to try to put something here. What are we putting here? Oh, Star Wars Trilogy. So this is kind of fun. You can kind of see, this Frogger has lived an interesting life. This was pre-us, but the operator before replaced the monitor and it didn't quite fit. But you know, it's a Frogger and it had a brand new monitor, so we put it out. Fortunately, no one can see the backs of most of our games. No, it's perfect. It's set up exactly how it should be. Comes in a little bit here. Single player, 2 player, single players, yeah. All right, so if you remember from some of our walkthroughs, we have this really super rare, they only made, I don't even know, 25, 30, maybe 50 of these Street Fighter V cabinets. And this is the best American manufacturer, for better or worse, arcade cabinet in a long time, so we wanted to figure out a way to source one. We were able to get one, but it uses a PS4 inside to play Street Fighter V, and we actually don't run Street Fighter V because it's terrible. But it's not perfectly configured, and we haven't really built a good way to set it up. So right now, we have to go into the back of it to get it all turned on, set up, and working. So now we have to find a spot in the line that's easy for our techs to get to for turning it on every day. So we're gonna be searching now for a spot for this that would make sense. Missile command? Okay.
We have to take the table out, but it would truly fit right here.
Well, do we have any space to scoot down a little further, or is it maxed?
We could go, yeah, we can go a couple of lanes.
Well, do we have enough for a table so that we could scoot it down a table's length so that we could put Street Fighter there and get a table?
I think we could do that.
Cool. Let's do that. And then we'll put Missile Command over there where Frogger was. We might be able to get away with moving Moonwalker to where Pingo is, Pingo over, and then do AV. That might work. Let's try that. And then put Missile Command where Crystal Castles is. So one of my favorite things about this rotation that we're doing right now is it's going to make our logo. We actually have more space right here on our big, huge wall logo, this is the most photographed spot in the place. People would go stand there. That's where they do the group photo. But we slowly were kind of encroaching on the space with too many games. But Cosmotron's is so thin that we can put a 4-player game right here and still leave our logo super visible for anyone walking through. Which has been kind of a priority for me, but my biggest priority is just awesome games. So this rotation, we're not really losing any games. We're gaining player spots, and our logo is gonna be more visible. I'm really pumped. So one of the interesting things we've learned about these Versus Cities, and this is kind of part of our big rotation today, we're putting a different Versus City here. Most of the sound issues have to do with the speakers slowly going out or the wiring behind the speakers. Now the problem is, to really get access to the speakers, you have to pull one of these tubes all the way out. So rather than try to do that here, we're gonna swap in, we have a lot of Versus Cities, right? So we're gonna swap in a Versus City, take it to our lab, to our workshop, pull the monitor out, really get to the problem and try to repair it. But anyone who's like at home, and it was a big change for me when I moved from being just a home collector to operating arcade. This is like a big endeavor just to change out this Versus City. We have to have another Versus City that's totally ready. And we can't really fix it in a day, so we can either sign it or bring in something new. So when you look at other arcades, you'll see signs on games for a couple of days, which makes sense because it takes that long. But to do what Free Play does, which is generally not have out of order signs, you have to have a whole nother game ready to come in. So it's just really special. So as part of this grand scheme of moving stuff, we're also going to swap this Versus City while we have the truck here and get a whole new one in. Now it looks like they're working their stuff outside. All right guys, we've pulled now the games that we were taking on the lines out, and we're slowly getting into the truck so that we can pull that Versus City that I was talking about, the replacement Versus City. It's actually looks like we had an extra new Versus, which is awesome. The tri-sync monitor and everything. And we have Killer Queen on the truck. So we're gonna pull Killer Queen and this Versus off, put them where they go, and then we're gonna throw the rest of the stuff that's going onto the truck. It's a whole endeavor, it's a whole thing. So that's kind of why I want to capture it on video, so everyone kind of understood rotations and rebuilding these lines is not like a super simple process. It takes a lot of care, and obviously a lot of games. All right, so this is gonna make a ton of people happy. We had no idea, like, we've been working on getting Killer Queen a community and everything here in DFW, but here's the real interesting thing. We pulled Killer Queen off the floor for a big Killer Queen tournament we had at our Arlington location, and a lot of people came to the door and were like, what happened to Killer Queen? That's why, you know, like, I'm so excited about playing that. That's the, like, main driving force for me being here. And none of them really cared about being in a community. They just loved this game. So it was a good learning experience for us, because we never knew, like, we knew it was played a lot, but we didn't know if the adoption was super high. It turns out, yeah, people just love Killer Queen. So we're really pumped. We actually now have 4 in the collection. So I think, I don't know for sure, but I think that might make us, at least in terms of not being one of the manufacturers, one of the largest holders of Killer Queen in the country. All of ours are latest gen as well, so none of that first gen stuff around free play. All good, all new, and back at Richardson, so a lot of people can stop emailing me angrily about the lack of Killer Queen here. All right, so we're saying goodbye from Richardson to Satan's Hollow, Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters, Arabian, and what was the 4th one that I just missed? Crystal Castles. And like, what's really great is I know there's people out there watching this that don't have like a free play near you and that are like, those are 4 all-time great games. Don't lose them. This is like a tragedy, but they're going right to another location. We've got a 4th location that's opening in about a couple months, 3 months at max from the date that we filmed this. So they're all coming back to the floor. They're all coming back to life. We're gonna get them rotated, but Richardson's had them for a few times, for a little bit. We've got, you know, we're gonna have 4 arcades in a couple months, so plenty of awesome spaces. But it really blows me away thinking about where I came from when we first opened this place. None of these are launch games or anything, and they were all dream games that I would get, and now we have such a great lineup that these are 4 that are getting taken off the floor. Really amazing just for me to think about how the free play collections become so deep and so amazing. It's awesome.